we doing, everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Monday, a fantastic Monday here in the great state of Wisconsin. You know what makes it even better? You know what makes this last weekend even better? And not just the weather. The weather was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The weather was great. But you know what makes it even better? A sweep of the Redbirds. The Bucks, they look like something on Sunday night and get the win there against the Pacers. Had a big lead in that one. Made it close, right? They made that baby close near the end there. Maybe a little too close for comfort. But, never really was in doubt. The Bucks handled the Pacers. Just a great weekend. Just a great weekend all the way around. Not much to complain about. The only thing that kind of put a damper on the weekend was, if you are a Conor Esesian fan, we did see Conor Esesian make his decision. He will be heading to Nebraska. So the Badgers will get to see Conor Esesian twice a year now with Nebraska there. I think twice a year. I don't know how it's going to shake out. Now that the Big Ten's getting bigger, if they will see Nebraska twice, I don't know about that. I haven't seen the schedules or anything or the plans for it, so not sure of it. But I would imagine twice a year you're going to get to see Conor Esesian once again. So Conor Esesian makes his commitment, and I want to say the word commitment, but I don't want to at the same time, right? When I think of the word commitment, that means you're committed to that place. And nowadays, does it really feel like guys are committed to universities anymore? Or does it feel like it's kind of just the day job, right? We're just going there for our day job, and when we're sick of that day job, we're going to leave and go to another one. I don't feel like it's commitment anymore. I feel like it's more or less just, I don't even know what you'd call it. I don't even know what you call it. A temporary stay. It's like a hotel, right? It's like a hotel. We're into hotels now. AJ Store's been to like 7 different hotels in the past 7 years now. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous all the way around. I am working on a little bit of I got a little congestion going on right now. So if my voice goes a little bit, that's what's going on. So don't you worry. We're going to make it through it, though. We're going to get into all the action. Lots of action going on over the weekend there. Greg Gard, for all of you non-Greg Gard lovers out there, and I am on the fence. I'm right in between. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a Greg Gard lover, and I'm not a complete hater. I'm right in the middle. I'm right in the middle on it. But Greg Gard did receive an extension. He got the men's basketball coach, Greg Gard, agreed to a 5-year agreement, was extended through May 31st, 2029 now. So he did get an extension onto his contract. He already had that little extension there, and they just added on a little bit more there. So now he's extended through 2029. So good news there, I guess, for Badger Nation. There's a lot of people upset about it. You can't blame him for the NIL crap that's going around college basketball now. So I don't know. It's more of the X and O's part that you would blame with Greg Gard. You'd blame with his team's lapses about mid-season right now, where they fall apart after good starts. That's where you can kind of knock Greg Gard as of late. Recruiting hasn't been a bad recruiter. You wish Madison could draw 5-star recruits like Kentucky or Duke. That'd be okay. Not going to complain about that, but, it's not expected, right? It's not something that just happens. And now with the way that the transfer portal works and everything like that, Greg Gard's going to have to change his philosophy in Madison. The years of let's get a guy in, let's develop him for a couple years, and then let's implement him in, that's gone. That's gone, because if those guys that you bring in, if they have any kind of talent and they're not getting playing time, they're just going to head off. They'll head off to a different university. They'll be able to play right away. There's no penalties, no nothing. Just get to hop their name into the portal there and head somewhere else. So, with some of the talent or some of the guys that he's lost over this past offseason, you could say, well, those guys are heading to lesser D1 teams, or they're heading to D2. They're not gonna make it anywhere big, right? And I get that. I get those. But, you got your Conor Esesians leaving. You got your Chucky Hepburns leaving. That's a different kind of animal now. And now he's got to be able to dig into the transfer portal and be able to replace that. Because, you have Daniel Freitag coming in. I get that. I get you have Daniel Freitag, and I hope that nothing but the best from him in this upcoming season. But the way that the college basketball game is heading, you looked at these teams last season. Every team that made it into the Sweet 16, you look at all those teams, you look at their roster makeup. They had maybe much more than two guys on their roster that actually started there, that actually started at that university. I mean, you look at Purdue. They had a couple of different guys on that team who, I mean, you look at one of the big ones there for Purdue, and the big thing for Purdue is they added some transfers in. You look at even teams like UConn. UConn was big in it. Transfers coming in. So, I mean, you just look across the board, even a team like NC State. NC State had a lot of transfers on that team. Wisconsin's going to have to get with that trend because, yes, bringing in recruits, young talent is still going to help you down the road if those guys stay. But at the same time, if you're going to be able to compete in a league now where guys are moving, I mean, look at Indiana's got 3 guys who have transferred over, and I believe most of them are in the top 30, top 20 of most transfer portal ranking the players. So to compete with even a team like that now, you're going to have to be able to add pieces, right? Maybe it's a guy like Tyrese Hunter coming out of Texas there. He was with Iowa State. I believe he was with Iowa State when the Badgers played them in that in the NCAA tournament, and then he ended up at Texas. Now he's transferring again. Maybe it's a guy like Tyrese Hunter. He's going to bring experience at the point guard position, which you just lost with Chucky. And we're going to hear from Frankie Fiddler tomorrow. Today here, I believe. Actually, today. I believe he's announcing his commitment today. But with Chucky leaving, I'm not going to say that I think Fiddler's coming to Madison either. I'm going to take that one as a no. So you're going to have to be able to dig into this transfer portal and be able to find some guys. Find some help. And I don't think it's just one guy like they did with AJ Storr. I think you're going to have to find a couple. I really do. I mean, you're going to have Nolan Winter probably step into Tyler Wall's shoes a little bit, right? But you're going to have to add some experience. You're going to have to add some, like a Chris Voigt, a big man, somebody who's going to be able to come in off the bench and scrap for you. You're going to have to add another guard, probably a wing, right? So you're going to have to dig out there and see what you can find in the transfer portal. That's where the Badgers, I mean, they really have to be looking right now. And that's where Greg Gard, yeah, you just got this contract extension, but you got to be able to work the system now. You have to be able to change with the times of college basketball. Yes, you learned underneath the Bo Ryan. And Bo is a fantastic coach, but Bo built guys. He built recruits through the years. Now you're in a stage of college basketball where you have to be able to dip into that transfer portal, into free agency, and build a team. And that's where I think Greg Gard needs to really improve on heading into this next season and years after that if he wants to keep the extension alive and also keep Badger fans happy as bringing in some of this talent there in the transfer portal. Because right now, I'm hearing a lot of names that the Badgers are looking at, they're reaching out to. Haven't seen any action, though. That's the big thing. I got to see action. I got to see something come, and then then and only then will we believe that Greg Gard is doing a fantastic job recruiting some of these guys into Madison there. I saw there was rumored that Chucky Hepburn's NIL rate was about $700,000 to $750,000. I mean, Chucky's a good player, but if Chucky's getting $700,000 to $750,000, that is rough for not mid-majors, but for some of these major programs trying to compete because you can't afford even a guy like that. So if that's Chucky's going rate, what is the rate of some of these other guys? Some of these other high prolific scorers out there, what is their going rate? I mean, I saw AJ Storr was talking about $1 million. Like, what is the going rate of even average dudes anymore? I don't know. It's definitely an interesting time in college sports, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. So with that, before I jump into the Brewers, I just want to talk about the Badger news a little bit there. But before I get into the Brewers here, I want to mention a couple of our sponsors here quick of the show. First Game Day Supply in Alaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Unalaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield, Wisconsin there. Also, Marshfield Motor Speedway is located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. You got to get down to the track. They just had their Spring Eve of Destruction this last Saturday. From what I saw, fantastic. I wasn't able to get down there. Little windy. Had a bunch of other stuff going on. I could not make it down to the track, which was sad. But from what I saw, it was fantastic down there at the track. So get down there. Get down there this summer. Plan some fantastic summer days and nights down there at the track. Marshfield Motor Speedways. Find the schedule on Facebook. Just search Marshfield Motor Speedways, or find it online. Just search Marshfield Motor Speedways, get to their webpage, and find the schedule. Get down there to the track. But with that, I want to get into the Brewers a little bit. A weekend series sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals, and there's nothing better than that. The only thing that's better than a weekend series sweep of the Cardinals is a weekend series sweep of the Cubs. There's nothing better. Nothing better than those two things. I don't care much about the Reds. I don't care much about the Pirates. But when you sweep the Cardinals and Cubbies, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. You walk away from that one a happy man. So, Brewers, Friday night, it was a nail-biter. Brewers took the lead in the third inning there with a run scored in that third. And then going into the bottom of the ninth, Trevor McGill tried to get him to go 2 innings, couldn't get through him there. And, well, that added a little bit of spice to it because then Yoel Payamps came in, walked a guy. Cardinals tied it at 1. We went to extras, and in extra innings, in the 10th, we saw the man, the myth, the legend himself, and that would be William Contreras, knock in another run. This dude is raking on all facets right now. This guy is, if there was an early season MVP, this is your guy. This is your guy in William Contreras. He had both RBIs in the game. And actually, you want to even hear it better. Both guys who scored the 2 runs was Blake Perkins. He started at second there in that top of the 10th. And he also scored the other run there in that third inning that gave the Brewers both their runs off of William Contreras hits. So that was fantastic. Brewers, 2-1 winners in this one. Looking at the Brewers in this game here, hitting was a premium. I mean, you had Contreras, 2 for 5, 1 for 5 for Adames there. Adames, I mean, as much as people hate Adames, he's been swinging a very good bat to start the year. I love his approach at the plate. He's not jumping on crap pitches to start. He's waiting. He's waiting patiently. He's getting a good, like we saw, a good fastball, knock it into left field. Just simple hitting from Adames, not trying to hit the long ball. That's the big thing. He's not trying to hit the long ball exclusively right now. He's just trying to drive the ball out there. And that's what we've been waiting to see. Good stuff out of Adames there. So Adames gets a hit, and then Perkins, if it wasn't for Contreras hitting as hot as he is, Perkins is right behind him there. I mean, Perkins in this one, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, like I said there. He had his average up at 341 in that game there. The rest of the Brewers, they go cold in that game there. Outside of a few walks there, Frelick had a few walks in the leadoff spot. Ortiz and Hoskins both drew a walk, and then Terang had a couple walks. Outside of that, I mean, bases were at a premium for the Brewers in this one. And on the opposite side for the Cardinals, much of the same. Much of the same. Freddy Peralta was fantastic in this game. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Got that ERA down to 1.90. Fantastic day from fastball Freddy. We saw Elvis Peguero for an inning there. He was, pretty darn good in his 1 inning there. 1 strikeout in his appearance. Trevor McGill looked good. He looked good. To me, I don't know why the Brewers tried to stretch him. I get what the thought was, I guess, but, I'm not stretching McGill. He's coming back. He's come back off injury, right? He had the concussion protocol. He's coming back. Just give him that 1 inning. 1 inning, he was fantastic. Next inning, he ran into some trouble there. So, an inning and 2/3 of work there, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 of them earned, 2 walks, and a strikeout for him. And then Payamps came in for a third of an inning, and he gave up a walk there, which was the 1 run that was added to McGill's line there. I would have brought Payamps in. I'm going to be honest. Payamps right now is my closer. So in that position, 1-0 game, I'm bringing in Payamps. I got to be honest with you. McGill did his job. 1 inning. That's what I needed out of McGill. He set up Payamps for that 9th inning. And then we stuck with him. You want to get as much as you can out of a guy. I get that. You maybe wanted to save Payamps for the weekend, but you had a day off the day before. You had a day off Thursday. You're coming into this Friday game, 1-0 game. I'm not pushing guys any farther than I have to. I'm letting it roll with Payamps there in that 9th inning. And, well, they brought him in late, and the walk given up there, but got out of it then. And that would be it for the Cardinals for scoring in this one. Milner came in the bottom of the 10th. 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, and a walk given up for Milner. A fantastic save there for Milner in that one. Payamps did get the blown save in that appearance there. I don't know how I feel about that, right? You mean, you get thrown in with the bases loaded. Should it really be against you, right? I mean, if I got thrown in there, bases loaded, and I just missed with a pitch, and a guy drew a walk, right? If it was Arenado, whoever it was, drew a walk. Or like Wilson Contreras right now, he's lighting up the ball. So if I'm pitching on the edges, and he draws a walk off something borderline, and now I get the blown save out of that, I don't know, I get it. I get why it's, a blown save for Payamps, but at the same time, it's like, whatever. So Payamps does get the blown save, but the Brewers do get the win. 2-1 there in 10 innings. That led us into the Saturday matchup. Brewers looking to take the series early in this one. They wanted that Saturday game, and they got it. 12-5 was the final in this one. Brewers, they got 2 runs early in this one there on the Rhys Hoskins home run, and then 3 runs in the 4th, 4 in the 6th, and then they had added on runs there in the 7th and the 9th, and that led to the Brewers with the 12 runs, 18 hits in total for the Brewers, 6 for the Cardinals in this one. And, well, a lot of it, DL Hall struggled in this game once again. Now he's on the IL, right? We've seen him going to the IL, left knee sprain. What I like to call that injury is I just got lit up, and now I'm on the IL. But on the IL, maybe that's been his problem this whole time. I don't know. All I know is that he struggled early on here, and he can't get past the 3rd inning. So that is a worry. That is a big worry. And hopefully this little time off here on the IL gets him right. So DL Hall, 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 5 walks in this one. The walks were a problem. And they set up other problems for him. So DL struggles, but Bryce Wilson, he comes in and says, well, I'll take care of it. 1 1/3 there. 0s across forward for Bryce. Bryce looked good in his appearance there. Hobie Milner, back-to-back days, inning and a third. He had a strikeout, solid day for Hobie. Uribe then came in for an inning and 2/3. He had 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. And then Thiago Vieira came in for an inning, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout for Vieira. So the Brewers bullpen does their job, slams the door on the Cardinals there in this 12-5 game. Frelick, 2 for 6 in this one. Contreras stayed hot, 3 for 6 in this ball game. Adames, 2 for 6. Hoskins, 2 for 5. We saw Oliver Dunn go 1 for 5. Sanchez, 2 for 5. Sanchez been hitting the ball a little bit better. He's hitting the ball, right? He's hitting the ball now. So that's good news there for Sanchez. Blake Perkins stays hot. Stays hot in game 2. 2 for 4 in that ball game. Bryce Terang, 2 for 5. And then we saw Jackson Chourio go 2 for 3 in this one. Terang and Chourio go back-to-back with the home run ball in this one. Showing off some muscle were the rookies in this game here. And some of the vets too. You saw Adames send a double out there. We saw Contreras continue to hit, and Rhys Hoskins. Big home run early on to set the table for the rest of the day. Rattle Michaelis right away, right? You got to rattle him there. So good stuff. Brewers win that Saturday game 12-5. That set up the match on Sunday going for the sweep. And, well, if you love pitching matchups, this was the one. This was the one to watch. Colin Ray was the unsung hero in this game. Colin Ray, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, 3 Ks. He had himself in some jams early on in this game. Some bad-looking situations. Bases loaded. He'd have a couple on, and it was like, oh boy, Arenado's coming up. Or we'd have, Nuke Bar coming up, or whoever it was, and it was like, oh boy, here we go. They're going to find a gap out there. It's the Cardinals. They're going to find a way. Colin Ray slams the door. Pitch fantastic for the Brewers. Something that the Brewers needed, a pitcher to go 5. That's what they needed. They really needed somebody to go 5, and Ray was able to do it for him yesterday there. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Solid day out of Colin Ray. Got that ERA down to 2.08. Hudson, in this one, Hudson's been fantastic for the Brewers. Hudson has been downright fantastic for the Brewers here. 2 1/3 innings, 0s across the board, 4 strikeouts for Hudson. Elvis Baguero in 2/3 of an inning there, 1 hit and 1 walk, got out of there. And then Payamps gets the save, an inning pitch and a strikeout. Yoel Payamps gets the save for the Brewers. Bullpen for the Brewers does their job. And then we look down the lineup here for the Brew Crew in this one. Sadly, Contreras was held hitless in this one. Held that average, though, heading into this Monday matchup with Pittsburgh. He's going to be sitting at 354, so nothing to shake your head at. William Contreras is hot. Frelick 0 for 3 on the day. Weimer did come in. He went 0 for 1. Adames stays hot for the Brewers, 2 for 4 in this game here. Hoskins 0 for 4. Perkins 1 for 3. He's sitting at 354. And then we have Bryce Terang, 333 after this one, 2 for 4 in that ball game. Owen Miller delivered the big blow. I don't think many people were going to say that at the start of this year, because everybody had kind of written off Owen Miller as even being a factor into this Brewers team. 1 for 4 in this one, but he came up with the only RBIs in this game, a single in I believe it was the top of the 7th. Yes, the top of the 7th there. Owen Miller singled in a couple runs there, and that was the only scoring the Brewers needed. Ortiz 0 for 2, and Churio 0 for 3 in this one with 2 strikeouts. Brewers 6 hits, Cardinals 6 hits. It was back and forth, just a pitching duel. That's all this was, a pitching duel. Who was going to be able to break score column first? And the Brewers scrapped it out there. Owen Miller comes up with a big hit for the Brewers and helps the Brewers prevail in this game here over the Cardinals. Brewers moved to 14-6 after this weekend series sweep. The Cardinals dropped to 9-13. Looking at the standings right now in the MLB, looking at the Central right now, the Brewers have a 2-game lead over the Cubs now, 14-6. Cubbies sitting at 13-9. That is followed up by the Reds at 12-9. They are 2.5 games back. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates sitting at 500 now, 11-11 after that hot start. They are 2-8 in their last 10 games. Brewers 7-3 in their last 10 to add some perspective on that. Looking at the Cardinals, 9-13 on the season, 6 games back. Looking at the run differentials, you're looking at the Brewers plus 35, and that is tied for first in the NL with the Atlanta Braves right now, who are also plus 35 right now. That's good company to be in, if you ask me. That is a very good hitting team in the Braves, so to be right there with them, that is solid all the way around. Braves have scored a little bit more runs, but the Brewers have allowed a little bit less there, so that's your big difference maker. So Brewers leading the Central right now, good stuff there all the way around. Looking at the NL West, Dodgers, they're up top 13-11 right now, and then we're followed by the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Rockies, all sitting around there. Padres game back, Diamondbacks game and a half, Giants 2.5 games back, so all relatively close there in that NL West. The NL East right now, the Braves up top, 14-6, followed by the Phillies sitting at 14-8 right now. They're game back. Then you have the Mets, 12-9 on the year, 2.5 games back. Nationals, 4.5 games back at 10-11, followed by the Miami Marlins. That's an interesting story. I did not expect Miami to be as bad as they are right now. 6-17 on the year, 9.5 games back, 4-6 in their last 10, a negative 38 run differential. The only one worse in the NL than the Marlins is the Colorado Rockies. They have a negative 47 run differential right now. Doesn't help they're playing at Coors, right? That doesn't help the runs allowed there. So, good stuff there in the NL. Looking at the AL right now, Yankees up top in the AL East right now, 15-7 overall. Half game back are the Orioles, 14-7. Yankees 5-5 in their last 10. Orioles have been hot, 7-3 in their last 10 games. Brewers, that last game of that series that they won, the Orioles did, it just sparked them. It must have just sparked them. Thank gosh the Brewers left town before they got hot, though. Looking at the rest of the AL East there, we have the Red Sox 2.5 games back, 13-10. The Blue Jays 12-10, 3 games back. Tampa Bay Rays 3.5 games back there, 12-11 overall there. Moving to the AL Central, we have the Cleveland Guardians 16-6 overall right now. They've been hot, 7-3 in their last 10 games there. They are followed up by the Kansas City Royals 13-9, 3 games back, 5-5 in their last 10. Detroit Tigers 12-10 overall, 4 games back. The Minnesota Twins 7-13, 3-7 in their last 10 games right now. And then we have the Chicago White Sox, 3 wins on the year, 3-18 overall right now, 12.5 games back, 1-9 in their last 10 games. They're negative 71 run differential. They've scored 45 runs, given up 116. That's crazy. That is craziness, if you ask me right there. So White Sox, they're bottom feeders right now. They might end up worse than the Oakland A's, and the Oakland A's are doing just about everything they can do to lose. I don't know if you remember, Brewer fans out there, but Esteury Ruiz, if you remember him, we traded him off. We got Contreras there in that Sean Murphy-Contreras 3-team deal there that went all the way around. The Brewers only gave up Ruiz. Well, Ruiz was the hottest hitter on the A's team, I believe, when he was originally designated for assignment. He was batting, I just wanted to check that out. I had the stat there on Ruiz. He was batting very well for this. I was trying to find it there. I'm not going to be able to find it here. Not going to be able to find it. I know he was batting in the 300s. Let's just go with that. So Ruiz is in the 300s. He gets sent down to the minors. And it was high 300s to start the year. Gets sent down to the minors. They said that he was striking out too much. He had 1 strikeout on the year. So they sent him down. Now he comes back up. And in his first at-bat back to the majors, he hits a home run. In his first at-bat back with the Oakland A's. Right after that, they designate him for assignment. He gets designated for assignment after he hits a home run. The only thing that I can think when I look at the Oakland A's right now is it is straight out of the movie Major League. You are watching in real life the Major League movie. Where, I mean, we already know the team's moving, right? But we're going to do everything we can to look like absolute crap until then. Why would Ruiz have been designated for assignment? This guy was batting high 300s, if not 400 to start the year. He had 1 strikeout. He gets sent down to the minors. He comes back up. He hits a home run, and then you designate him for assignment. That's ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous. The A's are a dysfunctional crap show. That's all I can say. And it is just, I mean, lack of better words, pathetic on the ownership. It is. It is. You can field a decent ball club. You can. You have a decent player in Ruiz. Led the majors in stolen bases. And yet you designate him for assignment after he hits a home run. That's ridiculous. This team is ridiculous. Well, I mean, a lot of people think the Brewers have it bad, and sometimes I hate ownership with the Brewers because we don't make moves, but this is bad. This is the epitome of bad. So, not good stuff out of the Oakland A's, but hey, they're not dead last in the MLB right now, so that's good news, right? That's probably why they did it. They're like, we have to get down to the bottom. Why are you hitting home runs for us? We're not trying. We're not trying to be good here, so what the hell? So, we got to get rid of you there. So, interesting stuff there. I mean, I just saw that today, and I was baffled. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I mean, this poor guy, what can he do? And was he supposed to strike? If he struck out, this is what I want to know. And I wish we could have saw both sides. If he would have struck out, what would they have done? Would they have kept him, right? Or is it because he hit the home run? Like, what was it? What caused? I mean, it's just stupid. Just all the way around stupid. So, looking at the AL West, getting out of the AL Central, looking at the West, like I said, we have the Rangers up top 12-11, Mariners at 10-11 right now, their game back. And then the Angels at 9-13, 2.5 games back. The Oakland A's, 8-14. That's why they have too many wins right there. 3.5 games back there of the Rangers. And then the Houston Astros starting out pretty rough for the Astros down there. 7-16 overall right now. 5 games back. -28 run differential right now. 3-7 in their last 10 games. Not something I thought I'd say about the Houston Astros, especially after they made that move for Hader. I was like, this team is loading up for another run. Now they're running at the bottom of the league. So interesting stuff right there in the MLB. But before I get to the Bucks, I'm going to get to the Bucks today. Before I get to the Bucks, I got to get to the last couple of our sponsors here quick of the show. First and foremost, we have Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently, and whether it was on the basketball court, the baseball field, the softball field, you were at work, whether you're out gardening and you just felt something pop, right? And you need some physical therapy, stop in there and see Chad at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. He'll get you right. He'll get you back to work, back on the court, back on the field. Whatever it is, he'll get you back there. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. Sports scene, sports cards, and memorabilia. Stop in there in the Marshfield Mall and see Al. He has everything you need, from sporting cards to memorabilia to jerseys, model stock cars. He's got it all. Sports scene in Marshfield, Wisconsin. And also Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville, Wisconsin. You got to get down there right now. It's getting closer to spring, getting closer to summer. You got to get down there and get all your gardening supplies from Pittsville Farm and Home Center there in Pittsville, Wisconsin. But with that, man, oh man, oh man, I did not think I'd be talking about this today. But the Bucks get game one. They win game one, 109-94. And well, that first half, the Bucks were putting the route on. They were putting the route on. I was texting people left and right. I was like, oh my God, like, is this, we finally see a Dame time, right? We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting to see Dame time all season. We're finally getting it here. I forgot Dame time was only for a half, though, but I'm just kidding. No, just kidding there on that Dame time joke there, but Dame plays fantastic in the first half for the Bucks there. And that set them up good for the rest of this game because, I mean, the Pacers scrapped. They made this a game in the second half. I mean, look at the first half stats from this game. Bucks, Pacers. First half, Bucks, they were shooting 25 for 49 from the field, 51%. They were shooting 9 for 21 from downtown there, and 10 for 10 from the free throw line. They had 9 assists. They were fast break points. They were leading in fast break points, leading on points in the paint, had 3 blocks. I mean, this team, 3 steals, only 3 turnovers to the Pacers, 8. The big thing when I watched this game was the Bucks came out and they jumped on the Pacers. They jumped on them. The Pacers had done that to the Bucks all year long. They had jumped on the Bucks. The Bucks weren't ready for it. They weren't ready for the speed, the athleticism, and everything in between. The Bucks came out in this game and they jumped all over the Pacers, and the Pacers got uncomfortable. I mean, you look at Halliburton; he had an uncomfortable game. You look at a lot of these guys. The only guy who had a really good game for the Pacers in this one was Siakam, and Siakam's a been there, done that guy. He's been in these situations. He knows how to play in the playoffs, so he wasn't as rattled. But you look at some of the other young guys, Nembhard, and you look at Tyrese Halliburton in this game here, and Nesmith in this one. Those guys were rattled to the point where they weren't ready for what the Bucks were throwing at them, and the Bucks were all over the place in the first half here, and even in the second half there. The Bucks weathered storms by the Pacers there and were able to control a majority of this game. Pacers did close that gap there in the third quarter, held the Bucks to 14 points, a slow third quarter for the Bucks, but they made up for it in the fourth. They held on to the win. That's what matters at the end of the day. The big thing in the first half, like I said, it was Dame. It was Damian Lillard showing us, I know how to play in the playoffs. I know how to win ball games. Dame, I mean, fantastic. 35 points, all in that first quarter there, or first half there. And you look at Dame in this one, I mean, 11 for 24 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3, 7 for 7 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with it there. A great game out of Damian Lillard. But the big factors in this one for me was the presence of Brook Lopez in the post area. He had 3 blocks in this game, 11 points, but a lot of putbacks and a lot of controlling glass, right? A lot of controlling glass for the Bucks in this one. And then you look at Pat Bev's contributions, just scrappy, just getting around there. I mean, you look at the offensive rebounds in this one. The Bucks had, I believe, 5 in this game in total. But the Bucks were in on. It seemed like they were running, and they were running like chickens with their heads cut off into there. And it was only one guy, though, right? Because all the other guys, all 4 other guys, were bailing back. Why? And it was in this game that I was watching, I was like, this is why, controlling the transition buckets for this, for the Pacers in this one, because you watch this Pacers team, and the big thing they want to do is they want to get out, they want to run, they want to get transition buckets, and the Bucks basically said, no, it ain't going to happen in this game here, fellas. We're going to hold you guys, because 12 fast break points in total in this game for the Pacers. That is low for a team that loves to run. That's where they love to be. They love to run. They love to hit transition threes. They love to get to the basket. The Bucks took those things away, and they became the aggressors in this game, and I love that. I love that because that's something that we haven't seen out of the Bucks in a while this year, is them coming out and acting like the target isn't on their back. The target is on the other team's back, and they're the underdog. That's what they played like in this game, was they had something to prove. And they do. They have something to prove. A lot of people talking a lot of crap about the Milwaukee Bucks heading into the playoffs. That is 100% true. That is me. I was talking crap about the Milwaukee Bucks coming into the playoffs here. And this Bucks team in this one showed, hey, you know what? We might be a shell of what we could be because Giannis is out, but hey, we're still good. We can still ball out. We can still get after these young guys, right? Because everybody said this Bucks team's old. They got after these guys. I mean, look at Brook controlling the paint area, keeping guys out of there. I mean, look in this one. The Bucks were plus 25 with Middleton in. They were plus 23 with Portis in. Lopez, I mean, -5 with Lopez and -6 with Lillard, but I'm going to say their contributions were a little bit more than that, because I thought Brook played fantastic in the post area. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought he played very well in the post area at deterring guys from coming in there and deterring shots at the point of strike. I mean, I saw a couple. Siakam would drive, and Brook Lopez was right there. And Siakam had to quick kick it out. He had to get it out to somebody else because he wasn't going to be able to finish at the rim there with Lopez. So I thought Lopez played very well in this one. Middleton played very well in the second half. I thought he had like 15 or 16 points of his 23 in the second half there. He was a big factor because Dame, he was getting hounded in that second half. A lot of double teams against Dame. He was forcing other guys to beat him, and Middleton did that for the Bucks. 23 points, 10. I believe he had 10 rebounds in this game. 10 rebounds for Middleton, 23 points. He had a block also in this game here. Did have 5 fouls. Technically, I thought he did foul out, but they gave it to Brook, I believe, in this one, so he was able to stay in this ball game here. 9 for 14 from the floor, 1 for 4 from downtown, and 4 for 4 from the free throw line. So fantastic night out of Middleton there. And then Bobby Portis, 15 points. He heated up there a little bit for the Bucks, 7 for 15 from the floor. He had 11 rebounds. He was all over the place. Did end up falling out of this game, but played very well. Beasley and Connaughton, 9 and 6 points in this one. But their contributions to what the Bucks were able to do, they hit timely threes, right? There's a time and a place where there's a timely three. And those two hit timely threes for the Bucks. Connaughton had the big and 1-3 early on in this one, and then Beasley hit a couple later in the ball game there that were timely shots that kind of weathered storms by this. I mean, the big one to weather a storm was Middleton coming out of that. It was coming out of the third quarter, coming into the fourth, and Middleton knocked down a big shot for the Bucks that, I mean, ultimately, it gave them, it weathered that final stretch by the Pacers where it was like, this team might be able to come back on them. This team was still, because it was a 9-0 run to end the third quarter, and then to start the fourth, Middleton came out and he banged 3. And it was like, okay, we're good. We're good. You know, shots weren't falling for the Bucks. Something was off. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're ready to go. So I thought that was huge. I mean, like I said, there was contributions all the way around. In this one from the Bucks. I mean, you're looking at no Giannis. Was it hopeful that they didn't announce his decision for the game until late? Possibly. It might be that he might come back sooner than we think. But no Giannis. You get a good effort out of Middleton. You get a good effort out of Lopez and Portis, and Dame shows up in this one, and then contributions all the way around. I didn't know how deep they'd go on the bench. We saw some AJ Green action in this one. I thought that was good. I think it's good that that Doc Rivers will go deep on the bench. I really think it is. Keep fresh legs out there. Don't waste away your veteran players here earlier on in these series, especially with big leads. Let those guys get a little bit of a breather. Bring in some of these younger guys. I would even be okay with seeing Ajax or Bieshkamp in this one. Maybe Gallinari for a little bit. And just give some of those other guys some time and then bring them back, right? Bring them back in. I think you have to be able to work the benches here in this series, especially against a really athletic Pacers team who likes to run. If they get in a running game, the Bucks will get gas. So hopefully we control transition buckets again, and the Bucks don't have to worry about that because, like I said, big thing in this one, transition defense for the Bucks and controlling that aspect of it was huge. So with that, Bucks, I mean, they got game one win. They'll face off with the Pacers one more time at the Pfizer. That'll be on Tuesday for that game there, a 7:30 start on NBA TV. So we'll get more into that game here tomorrow on the show there and preview it before that one tips off there at 7:30. But we got the Brewers in action tonight here. They're going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates, another matchup there with Pittsburgh. We're going to see Ross taking on Jones there. In that one, should be a fantastic matchup. That'll be a 5:40 first pitch there from PNC Park there in Pittsburgh. You can see that game on Bally Sports Wisconsin or listen to it on WTMJ 620 or wherever you get Brewers radio. But with that, that's about all I got for today. You know, we talked about a lot. Bucks, big weekend win. The Brewers, a big weekend sweep, and a lot of news in Badger basketball, and hopefully some good news coming up pretty soon here. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. But until I catch you guys back here tomorrow, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river, I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own